Hello, is this thing on? Hi Sam, welcome to the chat. This would be easier if I knew what I was talking about. So thanks for jumping in. You need to, as you're the only one putting your hand up in the room, you are now the sound engineer of this stream. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Greetings, real evil genius, Mr. Potato Butt as well. Yes, it's me. I don't really know what I'm talking about though. So here I am anyway. It's all good. Evening, Richard. It's all good, mate. Thank you, Sam. Our official sound engineer has confirmed that the sound is all good, because in the past we've had issues with sound, haven't we, chap? There's been a few occasions where the sound hasn't been the sound that we hoped would be the sound. So it's important to make sure that the sound is the sound that you want it to be. Because if it isn't the sound you want it to be, then, well, it's not the sound you want it to be, and that's not delicious, is it? It's like eating the wrong ice cream. Evening, Joseph. Daniel. You've never heard any sound issues, Mr. Potato Butt? What, there was one in a stream once. Way, that way. I think we had sound issues. There was a thing and I had to plug it in. Do you remember that one? Maybe you weren't there. Maybe you haven't watched it afterwards, but I did the first 20 minutes trying to figure out the sound on the stream. Aside from that one, so you know that one. So when you said you've never heard any sound issues, what you mean is you've never heard any sound issues aside from that one. So see, I'm glad we're on the same page. So we both, yes, there have been sound issues in the past. And I feel like it's important to establish that there aren't any sound issues before you move on. And Sam was the only person in the chat. So I asked Sam about the sound issues. He gets sound issues. Well, I don't know. He came back, he reconfirmed. And then you just threw a spanner in the works there asking about the sound issues. And they've never been any good. Whereas we've both established that there has been times where the sound issues have not been good. I think we're clear. Are we clear? I think we're clear. Thanks for joining me on this late night chat. I appreciate it. For all those of you who are watching after the late night chat, Christmas is coming back, right? And particularly people in the UK. You couldn't do much worse than getting your little snotling some Winter's SEO merch from the Winter's SEO page by scrolling along the top and finding the shopping and getting some merch like a hoodie, or joining the mug club, or if you're like super rich, then getting one of those hoodies. They're rare pieces of work. A Christmas hoodie on Christmas Day with Winter's SEO merch. Put a little bit of joy out there. Please, when are you going to discuss The End and the Death Part 2? We could discuss it tonight if you wanted to discuss it tonight. I listened to it twice. And then I went and listened to twice, 1.5 really, Pariah from the Dan Abnett Eisenhorn versus Ravenous series, because after finishing The End and the Death Part 2 again, I wanted to check with the Yellow King plot line at the end of Pariah. With the last, I didn't remember that the last 2 words of the book Pariah are Constantine Valdor. Then it ends. And I wanted to see if there were any other Easter eggs, any other things that he dropped in the dust back there. So we can talk about number. Also, the third book is the last one, right? Apparently so. The second one was going to be the last one, but clearly if you've read the second one, he couldn't stop writing, and the editors didn't want to stop him either. Because the editors thought, well, we can make a lot of money on this, but the editors also thought, let's face it, most of this shit is good. And while the general audience is trying to rush towards the end, wouldn't it be nice to set up a nice little trilogy, a nice little, Star Wars and the Thing, the OG, nice little trilogy, a nice Back to the Future thing going on there, boom, at the end that we can enjoy and savor for a while. I mean, it's going to finish at 3. I'd be happy with a 4th. Thank you, Martin. Thank you. See, we're here to talk about law. These law shades are on. I'm not sure I look like a proper rock star. Unless you mean a proper rock star is a middle-aged uh, guy in Swindon with a moderately successful YouTube channel which allows him to share himself openly with his community and share his hobby journey openly with his hobby community. How did we get here? If that's what a rock star looks like, then I'll take that. Bloody hope so. What's the bloody hope? I don't know what you're talking about, Stranger Come Knockings. I missed that one. Martin says that's exactly what you mean. Thank you, Martin. Thank you. Stroke it. Stroke my ego. Thank you. Don't forget to like if you're enjoying, guys. You know, Victor, I don't know if you're German or if you're not. But your grammar. I have to point out the grammar. When you say to like if you're, that's you are. That your is you are. So it's YOU and then apostrophe RE. It's you are. Sorry. It's the only one, guys. There are so many things that people have on the internet about emojis and hearts and LOLs and spell this way and don't write in exclamation marks all the time because it sounds like you're shouting. There's basic rules like that of internet etiquette. And most of us agree on most of them. And some of the silly little rules, like how to spell your or you are, most of us ignore that. But that's one that I stumble on every night. I'm sorry. You're a dumb southerner. Okay. You say southerner. I'm in Swindon. There's plenty south of me. I mean, Plymouth, that's pretty much south of me. Yeah. But thanks for jumping in, guys. So, Winters, I'm just getting in. What are we talking about? I don't know, Friendly Nate. That's what this would be easy if I knew what I was talking about. It's the title of this stream. So, thanks for asking. What are we talking about today? I don't know. Is the answer to that question. What do you want to talk about? I don't know what to talk about. What do you want me to talk about is perhaps a better question. Tell me what you want me to talk about and I'll talk about that. Because this would be easier, as the title of my stream suggested, this would be easier if I knew what I wanted to talk about. Because then I'd come in and start talking about it. But right now I don't know what I want to start talking about. I want you to ask me what I want to start talking about or what you want to start talking about. And we can talk about that instead. Maybe that'd be nicer. Where are we? Old World, please. Imperialis, Old World. What is my opinion on Old World? Now, I know it's coming. I've seen the thing. So this is what we're talking about now. We're talking about Old World. My opinion on Old World is I'm aware of all the bits. I've seen the bits. Have I read the bits? No, I haven't read the bits. Have I watched any of the bits? No, I haven't watched any of the bits. But I'm aware of the bits. And I'm aware of the people who are watching the bits telling me that the bits are good bits. And that there are questions, and we all have questions, but generally speaking, the feel from the Old World, I feel the vibe at the moment is good. I'd like to tell you that I know more about the Old World other than maybe the magic phases changing, and I could probably name 5 of the factions. That's about it for the Old World for me. That's where I am with the Old World. Yes. Sorry, you spent all your money on the new red gobbo. Is that out? The new red drop? Wow, appropriate name. Is that new red gobbo out? And how much is it? I want to know if it's out and how much. Yeah. Hi, Charles in the colonies. What's the question? Just what? Where are we? Where? Question. Apply God Emperor. I assume that we're talking about the End and the Death, Volume 2. They implied the God Emperor is weaker than Horus. I cannot and will not believe it. Even as Horus was backed by all 4 Chaos Gods, the Emperor protects. Yeah, that's the implication, isn't it? If the Dark King, if he doesn't use the power of the Dark King, he needs it. So he has to have it somehow. If that is true, if that is an absolute truism, you're right, Charles from the Colony. If that's 100% true, if it is, they are literally telling us that the Emperor can't be Horus without it. And we know that's not true. Because he does. So what is the way? So it's a nice little I saw it coming. I think most of us saw it coming. The Dark King, who's it going to be? Meh, meh. Yes, it's of course it's Big E. It's always Big E. Everything is Big E. He was the Dark King. Woohoo! Oh, spoilers. I guess we're now talking about the end of the Death season 2. Where are we in the chat? 4-1 out of the Magic phase. Pour one out for the Magic phase. Sad face. This Woof Boot Chronicles. Woof Boot Chronicles, for those who don't know, check out. See the Woof Boot Chronicles in there, and if you're watching this, go there to the blog. It's Stylus. Hi, Stylus. Pour one out for the Magic phase. Why are we pouring one out for the Magic phase in the new old world thingy bobs? Surely simplified is better, right? And Merry Cornmass. I can't. No, I can't. Though I do have to say, Stylus, thank you for offering to. Where are we? I mean, yeah, the old world rules, if they were they need a refresh, don't they? They need a refresh. They can't just bring them back as they were. A bit like Horus Heresy. When Horus Heresy came back, Horus Heresy didn't come back as it was. Horus Heresy came back with the reactions. So there's a couple of things that Horus Heresy does differently than it did in the first season. And the old world could honestly borrow from this piece of advice. And this is the piece of advice. If the old world had something like this in it. So it's got, in those weird cases where there's vehicles or chariots or or things like that, which aren't necessarily vehicles and definitely aren't infantry. And in Heresy, it's things like javelins and dreadnoughts. They just gave them wounds. You could do a similar thing in the old world. The weird stuff, just give them wounds. That helps simplify and speed up the game, but it doesn't change the shape of the game at all. And the other thing they could do in the old world rules is just add reactions. Reactions are a really good mechanic. It's like having 3 CPs every single phase. Both you and your opponent have reactions in each phase. It's lovely unless you play Death Guard and you decide to run a Rite of War without a reaction in the movement phase. So you can't react in the movement phase, but you can react in all the other phases. And if they had that, just old world stuff, you could get the old world 1.0 rules, tag on some principle design of something like that, which means that the janky sit becomes simpler and the other stuff, the reactions stuff becomes more interactive. And add that to a great rule system you already have, and boom, and that's a really interesting rule system, and I'd be very interested in playing it. I want the full Magic deck with the power cards and the head up. What are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about. But I do know Stylus is in the chat. And Stylus, I think we're looking at filming something with the old world at some point, which would be lovely to get it on the chat. Because I did it. I did the filming something with something for the Age of Sigmar with Mikey P and Brain. It might be Mr. AP Bird. I think it was those two of the three bears. And it wasn't sufficiently different, Age of Sigmar, from 40k as a game system to make me interested in that game system. Primarily my thought as an outsider watching a game of Sigmar, maybe the 4th, 5th game I've ever seen, and the first game of Sigmar I'd seen in about 3 years. My gut reaction is this game isn't significantly different from 40k, and if the games are the same-ish or same-ish, then why not just play that game that I like in the system that I prefer, in the lore, in the universe, in the galaxy, in the backstory that I prefer. Yeah. But the Horus Heresy rule system is sufficiently different from 40k to make me think, oh, 1 minute. This rule system is actually very interesting. And it's sufficiently different enough to make me want to play this and 40k. And I tried that with Sigmar. I tried to play 40k and Sigmar, but ultimately it was the rule system that pulled me apart, and ultimately it's the rule system that gets me playing Heresy, because it's a different way of interacting with your miniatures collection, solving different puzzles. Horus Heresy is more interactive and there's different puzzles in front of you, and 40k is interactive now with stratagems. They've put stratagems in it, which is lovely, but it is so tight. The system is so tight that it does punish the noobs, and it does punish people that because the balance system is tight. It's supposed to be like that. So, and both of those game systems are good. Playing tight with your toy miniatures is awesome. I like playing tight with my toy miniatures. Who doesn't? Who doesn't like pulling off the cheeky flanks, holding in because you put the thing on the thing and you're like, no, you're Shana. Who doesn't like the cheeky things? And seeing the cheeky things in the opponent's army when they manage to pull off the cheeky things. We all love the cheeky things, and Horus Heresy tells a different kind of story with its rules. So Sigmar didn't get me. Maybe Old World will, but I'll have to see the rules because I've only got so much time, and we've only got so much time out there, everyone. And this hobby takes so much time. Where were we? This stream would be easier if I knew what I was talking about. At the end of the rant like that, I would go back to the beginning and say, right, this is what we're talking about this evening, and be able to talk about that. But I don't know what we're talking about this evening. It would be easier if I did. What are we talking about? I would love Warhammer Fantasy Old World content moving forward. Fantasy is what brought me into Warhammer way back when. If you'd ever do Horus Heresy, you'd do it after finish your Heresy reading list. Hell yeah. I mean, if you're going through all the long haul, Niall, if you're like thinking, you've got 10 years. It's a project. I'm going to make my way through the Heresy reading list. It's all available on Audible. It's all available on Kindle. You can't get all paper copies of it these days, which is heretical as far as I'm concerned. But make your way through the entire Horus Heresy thing. Pick a Legion, work from there. Pick a Primarch. Which, if you're going to start a Legion, it ultimately comes down to who's your fave Primarch. Which one do you want to play? Not necessarily what's the best when you're thinking, it could be which one do you actually want to play with. Do you want to do the Night Hunter thingy bob with that? Or do you want to hold the line, have your Gandalf moments and like that sort of thing? What Primarch do you want representing you? And then that's the army you get, isn't it? That's the army you get. And the good thing about the Heresy release cycle is it isn't like this tight 40k system where you need to stay on top of the wave. If you want to stay on top of the 40k rule system, and it's always been like this since before 10th, it was like this. End of 8th, it was like this. It's been like this for about 5 years now, that if you want to be competitive at the top end of the 40k system, you got to be on top of it all the time. And so you've got this. We talked about that. Both good, both different. So yeah, if you do ever do a Horus Heresy, finish your Heresy army, finish the Heresy book, go into the thing. The release cycle isn't going to be near the same. This is a decade project. Horus Heresy is just next level. It's just they're different. Like going out and getting really wrecked is next level, and having a great time and pointing at all the lasers and drinking and getting, that's great, that's next level. But also next level is crossing that line, finishing that thing, jumping that high, throwing yourself off the mountain. Also that is next level. They're completely two different types of next level. So I think 40k is significantly different from Heresy. What Heresy does, though, is it's just got the most amount of lore that we know of, with our biggest characters at the biggest moments in 40k history. That's what it's got. And if you're in this for the long haul, like I am, then you're more invested in that. The problem comes when you have too many Primarchs. Was this Iron Fist, Space Wars? I'm sure that's supposed to be Iron Suns. I don't know. Iron Fists? Imperial Fists, Space Wolves, Dark Angels, White Scars. 1, 2, 3, 4, Sir Wooterich, you have 4 legions. Imperial Fist, Space Wolves, Dark Angels, and White Scars. White Scars are not a charge bike army. They're an ambush bike army. It's a passion project, is it? Okay, yeah. You and Leaky Cheese are what brought me into Horus Heresy. Me and Leaky Cheese. Well done, Leaky Cheese. I hope you're enjoying it. I'm enjoying the roller coaster. It's a good one. Like I said earlier, hopefully the old world thingy bob stuff, when that rolls round, hopefully that's exciting enough to pull me in as well. Because ultimately, dwarves, right? Elves, trolls. It's that. It covers World of Warcraft. It covers D&D. It could cover fantasy. It's such a wider net. Come on now. Rather than dwarves, you get them in the net first, okay? Grab your little Timmies, get them in the net face with that wide open. You want to play with dwarfs, you play dwarfs. You want to do anything? Elf army, skeleton army, the basic stuff. Get them in the net. Play in the old world stuff. Make it accessible as you can for them, but without dumbing it down too much. Make it an interesting game. And then if they want to go into the Sigma, it's going to be a pipe way that way into Sigma, as much as Sigma will draw some people through the Sigma system down that way. But I feel like Sigma's a lot of people get into Sigma through 40k. That's a large market that way. And less people get into 40k through AOS. There's not like, hey, I started AOS, I heard about all the things. There is some, but you could do percentages on all these things, couldn't you? What are we? Absolutely. Thank you. Yeah. Dwarves. Yeah. Imperial Fist. Damn autocorrect. Yeah. Brilliant. While we're hitting a pause, I started out in fantasy, then adopted 40k. Yeah, I mean, like, my journey, I'm old enough to remember when there wasn't 40k. So it was sci-fi and fantasy, and there was limited fantasy, Dragonlance, the Belgariad, all the classic fantasies like Lord of the Rings, Raymond E. Feist. I think Raymond E. Feist was just about starting, and then sci-fi was Star Wars, Star Trek, Blake 7. There wasn't a 40k. So, yeah, I started out in fantasy, then adopted 40k. Never picked up AOS either. That's the way it rocks for a lot of people, but not all. So you could draw things. So what have I been doing today? I have uploaded a video for tomorrow, because this is the point where people are watching after the video saying, talk about it. So video tomorrow is Eldar, the 13th take on the dreaded Eldar. That's for members, channel 3, tier 3 channel members tomorrow. Thank you so much. If you're out there, hands in the air if you are, by the way. Let's see you. I did that. That's up there. I went to do a thing for Den of Imagination, but I just got carried away because I put up a thing on my Discord earlier, which I shouldn't have done, but it's been fun. Basically, I've opened the calendar, the mem for next year, and it was looking pretty naked. So I just popped into members, because there's about, 5 or 6 people have previously asked me in the Discord, can I play with you, please? Because I invite strangers that I meet off the internet to come and play with me. And the answer was no, because I haven't got my calendar for next year. Then I got my calendar for next year, and hardly any of them replied. So I waited all the way to December to say, look, there was, and I can't remember who. I get so many messages. So I put it in, and everyone, whoever you were, you want to chip in, now's your time. And by the way, yeah, members, let's do this. And it wasn't a good idea. It wasn't a good idea. It's a good idea. It's full-ish, but it's not a good idea. I mean, there's people come from Switzerland now. There's a guy flying down from Scotland. My CO2 footprint just went up by about, half a ton. I don't know these things. Mr. Potato Butt, thank you for gifting the first membership of the evening. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. That's a tier 2 channel member gift to whoever got it. The Eternal Crusader. That'll unlock the Discord. Get in there, son. So I did that. So that wiped out my day, because I was going to do a thing with the Den of Imagination thing that they gave me. So I'll have to do that tomorrow to get it out on Thursday, because there's a members video coming out on Wednesday. And then some paint's turned up. And I've only got about half a can of that left. So I've got another can of that left because I'm about to start my iron hands project. I've got, two of these. There'll be iron hands. How hard can it be? It's iron hands. Spray and black, right? Add a bit of silver. Job done. I've got two of these already built, ready to go. Now I've got a goal, and the goal is to paint at least 5,000 points worth of iron hands in a couple of months, in say 3 months. But I've got a dream, and my dream is to make 2024 the year of the iron hands and make over 10,000 points worth of 30k iron hands. That's the dream. So I had to stock up on some things, and then after stocking, blah, blah, blah. Where are we? Iron hands. I just started Blood Angels. Currently painting Blade Guard. Nice. I need some Blade Guard for the 13th, you know. Is Salamanders on the docket? Well, Christian Kopang, funny you should say so. Salamanders might just be on the docket as well. I'm hoping to go to the No Retreat Legends Horus Heresy event in Gibraltar. If I don't get in, I don't get in. If I do get in, that would be lovely, because it's not guaranteed that YouTubers automatically get in there. These guys have a reputation to uphold, I'll have you know. Check out SN Battle Reports on YouTube. But yes, the guys at SN Battle Reports have a reputation to uphold. They can't be letting in anyone willy-nilly. It doesn't matter if you've got 100,000 subscribers. It doesn't matter if you've got 100 million subscribers. It doesn't matter how big you are. What kind of hubris is this? You're just a person. What matters to them is to make their event, the SN No Retreat tournaments, the best events on earth, which is why they're the only tournaments I've gone to in the last 7 years. I must have been to 6 or 7 of them by now. They're lovely people. Why are we talking about this? Oh yes, I hope to go. But it's not automatic. They've got to maintain their brand. They've got to make sure that when you see pictures of these armies at these events, that they're the best armies on the best table you've ever seen. And my painting standard, if I stopped and didn't speed paint and painted, my painting standard would be good enough, because my old painting standard is, and it still was, my Angron. I'm quite proud of the Angron that I did for Alex SEO's World Eaters. That's my Angron. He looks beautiful. I did that. Quite a few layers went into that. He's sweet. Proud of that. But if I did that for all the things, there would be no things. So I'm aware of my painting standard. So you asked me about salamanders. We got back to the beginning. Thanks for asking me. I asked Den of Imagination, do you think you could get an entire 3,000 point salamanders army to me in time for the No Retreat Legends Horus Heresy event? And they said maybe. We'll talk to you tomorrow, literally tomorrow. So I'll be about to find out tomorrow about that one. Oh dear. And also tomorrow, if you're about tomorrow or listening to this tonight or whenever, I'm going to be on Pardo from SM Battle Reports does a podcast, Initiative 10 podcast, and it's tomorrow night, 8 p.m. UK time. I'm going to be on that, where we're going to talk about Horus Heresy. Why are we talking about Horus Heresy a lot, guys? If you did Loyalist or of Isstvan III, how many points would you have? What, me? If I did Loyalist of Isstvan III? Oh, right now. If I did Loyalists of Isstvan III right now, I can put on 5,000 points of Emperor's Children, 3,500 points of 5,000 points of Emperor's Children, 5,000 points of World Eaters, 3,500 points of Sons of Horus, and 3,500 points of Death Guard. So someone add that shit up. That's how much loyalists I could put down on Isstvan III right now. What books am I reading? Right now, nothing right now at this second, and I'm thinking about the next one. What is the next one? Because like I said, I went on holiday recently, which is why we had a couple of those STCs, and I read a lot. I did The End of the Death Volume 2 a couple of times, did Pariah a couple of 1.5 times. That kicked me into All the Gaunts Ghosts again. I seem to have found this drinking problem. So I smashed that, and I want a good series to get me into get me into painting. Smash on with the Iron Hands. Need to start on the Iron Hands. Like I said, the dream for this year, 2024, will be to end up with 10,000 points. And also, why 10k Iron Hands? They're not exactly the first Space Marine Legion that comes to mind. So what about them inspires your muse? Well, Christian, kabang! I'm glad you asked me. Why 10k of Iron Hands? The reason why 10k of Iron Hands is in my head is because when you think of Iron Hands, they reduce all income and strength by 1. So you think of their Legion thing straight away. This is the ideal list to abuse Pride of the Legion and have a Dreadnought list. Boom, 1. They also do vehicles pretty well with it. Will Not Die, which you can buff up, and Ferris buffs it to a 4-up. They do that. They also do infantry really well with, so there's lists there where you can go dirty depending on how you abuse the rules. And one can be vehicle heavy, one can be dreadnought heavy, one can be infantry heavy, just by looking at the rules. And on top of that, the conversion opportunities on the infantry, on the things, on the stuff. And then you've got Medusan Immortals, which you can take a Rite of War to make them line scoring. So you can go the Medusan Immortal thing and have some Gorgon Terminators in there, and then suddenly you've got a 5-up field and paying for free in your army, more of the Relentless Horde sort of thing. Essentially, when I think of the Iron Hands and I think about just their rules, I'm going down this rules journey. I told you, this is kind of one of the things, my muse essentially has pulled me here, I guess, is when I look at the Iron Hands, I can see 2 or 3 completely separate ways of playing them to abuse the rules. Now, I wouldn't want to abuse the rules in any one game more than once with an opponent who knows, like, I'm going hard into this one. Here's a lot of dreadnoughts. And I'm going hard into this one. Here is 160 infantry and they've all got no bane. You know, there's some things, and I'll do that once, but that allows me to find out where the barriers of this particular legion is to write the better lists and the more exciting lists, because the better lists and the more exciting lists are the ones where stuff happens. And the games where most stuff happens is where you both play to the end of the game. Naturally, that's the most stuff happening. If both of you play to turn 2, then that's less stuff happening. So the best games are the ones that happen where most stuff happens. And that's what you're aiming for. That's what I'm aiming for when I play most games. I'm trying to play the most. And if I can win at the end of that, it's a bonus. And if I don't, so long as I'm playing the most, that means more cool stuff happens when you play the game. Explosions, failed charges, miraculous one-shots, things like that. This is what we all play the game for. Well, again, most of us. Because that's all that was left of them after Isstvan. That's all that, Azchan, that was all that was left after them after Isstvan. No, I'm saying after Isstvan, there was very few people left, wasn't there? There's literally a handful. After Isstvan III. I've got that number of loyalist forces so I can play games exploring that narrative in Isstvan III. And now Raven Guard, Isstvan V. Iron Hands, Isstvan V. Salamanders, Isstvan V. You see where we're going with this, people. It's a 10-year, it's a long project. Evening, Asbo. How you doing? Hi, Weasel. Thanks for jumping into the chat. Thanks for swapping. I hope we're doing well. Oh dear. As well as getting some supplies for my hobby life, I also got a couple of Artis Opus pens. Oh dear. Level 3 painting brush things as well with my paints. Artist Opus. See, I had a conversation once with Byron from Artist Opus. There's their own YouTube channel. Check out Artist Opus YouTube channel. And he said, look, mate, have you tried level 3s? I've been painting with all my life. Have you tried the level 3s? I was like, no, I don't really use level 3s. It's 1s and 2s. It's 1s and halves, isn't it? Surely, come on. You never go level 3s. You might go level 5s to slap it on at the start. But what the hell is a level 3? No, keep it tiny after slapping it on at the start. Obviously, he said, nah, mate, trust. Level 3s. I've got 2 more Artist Opus level 3s. These are magic. These are magic legs, Lieutenant Dan. You got magic legs. These are magic. And if you want to, with Christmas coming up, use the link in the content more thing below. Then you can take that link to Element through my link and buy some Series S3 bits of magic for someone magical in your life this Christmas season. I don't know where that came from. It just came. I think of 3 legions, only 10k soldiers in total left on Isstvan, and then even made again. Yeah. So after the virus bombs came down, and Angron, then Isstvan III, they land 4 legions worth of loyalists on a planet, and virus bomb them. And those that are survived the virus bombs were going to get nuked off the face of the earth by Horus. Done. Isstvan III, done. I can hit Terror in 2 weeks, done. Done. We're back in time for mine, for tea and crumpets. That was the plan. He virus bombed Isstvan III of all the loyalists, and then Angron teleported down there below the clouds. The atmosphere wasn't a nice place. It was worse than Scunthorpe. The atmosphere was bad. Angron went down there and started eating worlds, doing Angron things. So Horus couldn't exactly nuke the city. Horus was like, well, let's turn this into a party. And that party lasted 3 months. How many loyalists were there after the virus bombings is a number. How many there were left after the nuclear strike on the coral city at the very end? Well, we know of Loken. We know of a couple outside the Death Guard and we know of a couple. Before the virus, at the start though, after the virus ones came down, there was about 10. What was the well? We have the number at the end. It's 3,000 Emperor's children, 2,000 sons of Horus. The World Eaters were all gone, and there may have been some Death Guard in the trenches at the beginning, but it's about 10,000 loyalists, 10 whole chapters, and they hold up Horus and Angron. And the other legions deployed as well, but we know that those 2 directly deployed on the surface through future events that happen in the Horus Heresy series. They hold them up for 3 years. It's an epic story. Angron, the biggest fan of Leroy Jenkins. I actually Googled to find out what the hell that was all about, and it's hilarious. Listening to Siege of Terror, Book 4, Angron doing his bit. Yo, yes, mate. Yes, mate. Killer Kriegsman, thank you for joining the 13th Tier 3. Thank you for becoming a member. That unlocks an extra battle report every single Wednesday, so I appreciate you. Hi, Adam. Killer Kriegsman's back. Back once again. Back once again. Hi, Just Craig. Killer Kriegsman is back once again like the Renegade Master. D4 damage with the ill behavior. Just Craig, good to see you. I look forward to seeing you in soon. I've been watching your Just Craig. Check out Just Craig on Instagram. I've been watching you progress. Or was it in the Discord? I've been seeing your Ultramarine images pop up. Watching you progress. And I hope I'm not driving you to insanity. You're coming here to play me. We're going to see Ultramarines for the first time. You can drop in knights. There's a get out valve there. Don't hurt yourself, dude. Don't hurt yourself. Don't cry for me, Argentina. So the hobo, Sergeant Bob, did a bit in this game. In the game you had today. Well done, Sergeant Bob. I'm nicer than Mordian is at the moment. What are we talking about? I don't know what you're talking about. That doesn't make sense. What's Santa bringing me? That's a good question. The answer to that question is nothing. Nothing. I'm 50 years old and childless. What is Santa going to bring me? No, that's not how this works. The old people, they give to the younger people. That's Christmas. Sometimes there's a bit coming back again. But the old people are like, yeah, and most of the time with the stuff coming back again, it isn't from the younger people, it's from the owners of the younger people. They're giving you the stuff like a ricochet. It's coming through the younger people, hitting you in the face, this stuff. And that happened. That happened. If there is no younger people to give the gifts to, the gift giving stops. So, nothing. Have I thought of doing any D&D style Horus Heresy 40k contact? No. Maybe, probably, yes. Where are we? The Hobo, member for 11 months. Thank you for being an 11-month member. I appreciate you. It's Morty, by the way. Remember Sergeant Bob from Warhammer? Oh, I remember. You're Mortarian in the Discord. The Hobo out here is Mortarian in there. You're confusing everyone. You definitely confused me. It would have been easier, quite frankly. It would be easier if you change your name here, the Hobo, into Mortarian. That would be nice. Or change Mortarian into the Hobo, because then this all sort of, we don't need to. You see, there are rules. I found out the older I get, the more I stick to the rules, the less stuff breaks. And when I don't stick to the rules, a lot of stuff breaks. And I think that's a good metaphor for life. No matter what time, what society, what culture you're born into, 1,000 years ago, 1,000 years into the future, 1,000 miles from here, you're born in a set of rules. And it could be your job, it could be your house, it could be your culture, it could be, make sure you drive on the right side of the road, because if you drive on the wrong side of the road, you don't ignore that rule. If you ignore that rule, you die. We all live in this, and the older I get, the more I realize that no matter where, whoever, whatever, wherever you go, whoever you talk to, if you generally stick to the rules as much as possible, then you don't get hurt as much. And you don't hurt others as much. So if you could stick to the rules and make sure your names are the same in both the Discord and here, it would help everyone out. It would hurt a lot less people, because quite frankly, you're hurting me right now. Afternoon, Matthew. I like being awkward. Don't be awkward, you see. Awkward people, sometimes people get pissed off with awkward people, and you don't want to add to the amount of awkward in the world. You want to reduce the amount of awkward in the world. There's so much awkward going on out there. It's very awkward, you know. So it's probably better if we tried. I can't tell you about I don't know what kind of awkward you've got. You've got a whole other kind of awkward that I've got. My awkward is, you don't want to know about my awkward, bro. You don't. But what I could try and do is a bit less of it, you know. I think that's what we need to be, and you need to do a bit less of awkward and make those two names touch. Bring them together. A hallowed union on this date. We'll remember about it. We'll talk about it in the future. This discussion will come up again. No, I'm Alfarius. You're not Alfarius. Okay? Or everyone's Alfarius. If no one's special, then, or everyone's special, then no one's special. That awesome, impossible, Incredibles line. You're not Alfarius, or we're all Alfarius. That means I'm Alfarius too, and I don't know if I can take that. Could I be Alfarius? Winters, I'd like to bring Butt Slapper back next year. It sounds like something I would enjoy. But you're going to have to poke me a bit more than that. You're going to have to poke the old grey matter a bit more than that, because sometimes you need to spell it out when you get older. I think I'm dipping my toe back after 3 decades. Nice, mate. In spite of that profound insight, you still don't drive on the right side of the road. Exactly. There are rules. There are rules, and your right side of the road might be my wrong side of the road, and your wrong side of the road might be my right side of the road. But so long as you follow the rules in your place, and I follow the rules in my place, and try not to break as many... See, the people who really follow the rules, regardless of which, whether they were 1,000 years ago or 1,000 years into the future, or whether they live 1,000 miles of the way, the people who really follow the rules are like your scientists, are your people who leap off of mountains, people who climb mountains, people who break records. They're the ones do you know how many rules you have to stick in to break a record, to be any kind of record, let alone an Olympic record? That is one person. And then the idiots don't even know how to follow rules. Like, there's a bunch of rules that I don't know how to follow. So that's why I'm not. So I try and just when it comes to all these things, you just got to try and not be an idiot. Where are we? What are we talking about? So I am an idiot. I'm going to need a bit more grot bust butt slapper. That's not helping me. Matthew can be Omegon. What are we talking about? Only nerds follow rules, break rules. It's the Orky way. You can break rules. You can. We can break all the rules all the time. We break all the rules all the time as well, don't we? This is just human nature. Hope things are well, dear Winters. Should I get the new codexes for the law, or is it not worth in your opinion? You know what? I haven't read any of the law in the new codexes. They brought the law together during the Arcs of Omen thing. And the real boundaries of the law are always happening in the novels first. If they were happening in the codexes first, they would sell less novels. It's business 101. So some of the revelations have to happen in the novels first. They sell more novels that way. And those of us crazy kids who want to make sure that they're at the head of all the law all the time, buys all the novels all the time. And that's a lot more time that you lose to this mad, crazy hobby. So I don't read the codexes I haven't read the law codexes for a while now, because it's old news. Unless it gets pointed out to me in my Discord, unless someone says, and there's a chat, because I'm always in the Discord scamming through, skimming through, searching through, scamming, skimming. What am I doing? I'm floating amongst the members throughout the course of the day, many times a day. And sometimes it's very quick. Sometimes I'm like a ghost. I'm like a bullet in the night. Sometimes that's me. You were like, there was an assassination just happened behind you, and you're a whisper away from death. Sometimes it's that, and you don't even know. You don't, just maybe a little tingle in the night. The sort of thing that when you're asleep wakes you up with a... That was the heartbeat of death, and you avoided it. Sometimes like that, but sometimes I'm in there deep. And then I hear the things, and then I think about the things. Speaking of law, I finished The End of the Death Part 2 this week. Dear Lord, what a book. Just give me Part 3 already. Hell yeah, Jess Craig. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. We had some epic moments in that one. We definitely had some epic moments in that one. What was your most epic moment in The End of the Death Part 2, Just Craig? Love my Necrons so much, I'm afraid to mess them up by actually painting them. You've got about 2.5k of points. Matthew Cheeseman, there's not much worse you could do than check out my video on how I painted my Necrons. It's very easy for a very good result, if I do say so myself. Hi the Badger King, thanks for dropping by. You were in the latest battle report, or you will be in the latest battle. Badger King, has the battle report that I did with you been on the interwebs yet? I think it has. That was the one on Sunday, right? I think. Probably Logan and Samus. Just Craig, what are we talking about? We will be spoiling, guys. Just Craig is... We're going to try and talk about the End of the Death one in 2 a little bit. Or Just Craig is... Just Craig, speak up, man. What are we talking about? Hi, Badger King. Yes. Someone answered, where are we? I was. You're internet famous now. Yes, Badger King. Badger King, can I ask you, what's it like being internet famous? People stop and point, do they? Interesting. I'm pretty certain. I mean, I saw you before you were internet for it. They scream and run. Yes. Yes. That's the bit that I saw. I mean, the stopping and pointing and the screaming and the running, because I met you a few times at events and things, because, hey, look, it's the Badger King. Yes, he's here. He is indeed the king of the Badgers. It's a full-time job. They need a king. Badgers are rowdy, a bit like Americans when they've had far too much caffeine. Whatever you say, Your Majesty. And they drink a lot of caffeine, the Americans. They're on it. And sugar. But, all the cultures here in the UK, the one thing that we really like to ingest lots and lots of is shit food. So, just bland, placid pies, cabbage, potatoes. I love food so much, man. Except for fish. I love discovering all the different tastes that there are out there. And I wonder if a large part of that has to do with all the terrible tastes that are here. You're actually sipping coffee right now. Screams and runs. Yes. Food is fuel. Yes. And then there are other people like Monkey. And Monkey is... Hi, Monkey. Welcome to the chat. He's in the same bracket as my wife, in fact. Both of these people believe food is fuel. That there is no joy in food. There's no joy in the simple act of tasting something you like, or here's the better one, discovering a new taste you never knew you liked. Why wouldn't you want that? That's more like in your world, right? No time for any joy, says Monkey. Ain't got time to bleed. You want excellent food. Chicagoland food can't be recommended more. Chicagoland food. So I have to go to Chicago, find the land, eat the food. Hello. Eat to live and all that. Eat to live. See, Jink's in the house. Jink's in the same thing. Tomo, food is life. Tomo's on the old event roster now. Tomo, pleased to meet you in the chat. Well done. Did you send me those pictures, bro? Dude. Fella. Member. Chum. Auf Wiedersehen. Mrs. Asbo is a feeder. Asbo XL on the way. Nice. Congratulations. Asbo XL on the way. I'm glad to know that you're... Tomorrow? What? What's tomorrow? Tomo. Ah, dear. Pictures. Pictures of tomorrow? I saw a meme once that said the taste of their food and the beauty of their women made the Brits the best sailors in the world. You'll send me the pics tomorrow. Yeah, that's pretty true. Yeah. The taste of their food and the beauty of their women made the Brits the best sailors in the world. There's probably a lot to say in that. They're probably... I mean, Scandinavia, they're definitely doing something right. People who generally get out the house more are doing something right. All those Mediterranean, there's some damn fine looking Greco-Roman statues out there. But in the UK, where we don't get out much, and even in further northern countries where people really don't get out very much at all, there's hardly ever statues. No, it's got to be the sun encourages life. And in the UK, where's the sun? Chicago also has Italian beef sandwiches, chocolate cake shakes, Chicago-style pizza, big burgers, almost half as big as a Texan burger, and lots of chicken tenders. Well, I don't know the size of a Texan burger, but you're saying that the almost half as big as a Texan burger, that tells me that your burgers are half as big. And chicken tenders is a thing that sounds like I should know what it is, because I hear Americans talk about tenders from time to time, but I don't know what the tenders are. It sounds tenderizing, but I know not. I imagine they are wings, they're nuggets, they're things, they are something. You're just happy I didn't veer into 3D printing over actual GW products. Yeah. But I have resorted to getting 3D printing bits and pieces here or there to supplement GW products, particularly in the Horus Heresy range, because they haven't supplemented it enough to extract all the possible revenue that is in the audience at this time. Maybe because of a long-term strategy that they don't want to extract all the money from the potential audience right away because they believe it's a drain of a valve. Because they've never tried that, they won't know if they're right or not. And some number crunchers somewhere, people who are scared to dream, won't ever. I mean, it's a pipeline. There's a limited number of writers, sculptors, artists. There's a limited amount that company can sustain. So there's that thing. Are you coming to the Warhammer World Horus Heresy event in March? No. I need to hear good things about the Warhammer World Horus Heresy events. And I haven't heard anything. And I don't know if that's a good thing, because people tend to tell me things. Posh turkey dinosaurs, put them on flour. So, 1 minute. Chicken tenders are posh turkey dinosaurs in flour tortilla with salad and barbecue sauce. So it's basically a turkey tortilla wrap. Is that what it is? Turkey tortilla wrap. I really like the dynamic poses, monopose models. Plus, yeah. Aren't tenders the bit on the back of a breast fillet? Are you asking me? Are you asking me? It's the cameraman. Is it? Oh, it's Rick Shazam, the cameraman. Hi, Rick Shazam, the cameraman. Thank you for agreeing to book on Winter's SEO for another thing. Rick, how many armies you got? Oh, I didn't ask you. You've got the Emperor's Children. You're working on your 30k Imperial Fist. I'm assuming that's 30k. Have you got anything else? Because you said to me the magic words in the Discord, which was, I've got most weekends free. So you and me need to talk, brother. You and me need to talk. Dark Angels. And then the Imperial Fist and the Empress. Okay, right. Or you're doing it one sentence after another. We could be here all night. Say the word, dude. Was that the end of the conversation then? Okay, I assume that's the end of the conversation. Oh dear. Chicken tenders. No. So, yeah. So many Dark Angels. Just lots of Dark Angels. Yeah, that's all it is. There's loads of Dark Angels, because I know there's a few people that Rick's played in the chat as well, because Rick Shazam's setup is amazing. So I know he's played quite a few people from the Discord chat as well. Are you advancing the 13th story? Am I advancing the 13th story? Right now, I'm doing a live stream. Later, I might be advancing the 13th story. It's a complicated question. My Imperial Fists are all green. Oh. Why are they all green? Imperial Fists are not green if they're 30k Imperial Fists. They're yellow or black. They had quite a lot of black. A tiny bit of white. I just don't like all their paint scheme. I wish they had the 40k green rather than the 30k black. Right. Okay. Nice. Well, thanks for coming in the stream, guys. This has been fun. Are we stopping the conversation now? Because this stream would be easier if I knew what I was talking about. I'd have reached the end by now. But because I don't know what I'm talking about, I don't know if this is the end. Is this the end? Where are your white scars? I don't have white scars. I don't have white scars. What do you think about the new HH FAQ? Yeah, it's good. It's overdue. The thing I like about the HH FAQ is that once those things are put in the FAQ, they're fact. And that's the way it's going to be for 6, 8, 10 years. That's it. That rule is done. They're not going to change it every 6 months like they do in 40k. I quite like that about the Heresy FAQ. So they tidied up the Primarch thing. That's quite nice. They tidied up Master Crafted on Chaplains. That's quite nice because it did give them claws every now and then. You can assault... You can deep strike assault out of drop pods if the drop pod has the assault rule. So you're looking at dreadnoughts and Kai dreadnought drop pods and Kibber's drop pods, blah blah blah. That's the thing. Most of the other stuff, I kind of there wasn't anything in there that surprised me. It was just nice to see. But seriously, is Swindon that bad? Yeah. Yeah. Dear. It's not a nice place. There are nice places in it, like there are nice places in every town or city, But Swindon is not a nice place. I mean, a nice place would have mountains, a lovely vista, or oceans, wouldn't it? A nice place would be like that. A nice place would have a fun park in it. A nice place would have nice things in it. Is there a 40k army you were looking forward to playing or wish you could play? 40k army, the Necrons. I'm looking forward to playing more of them. Updated the legacy data sheets. I'm glad they got from Monteros on the table for it. They updated the legacy. I didn't know they did. I'll have to check. If just Craig, can you message me in the Discord? They updated the legacy data sheets. I'm gonna need that written down. Send me a message. Then I'll remember it, and then I'll remember to go and check the legacy data sheet. Because if I don't, I won't. And I want to see that updated data sheet as well. Rylanor is up a weapon skill. Is he? Good. Rylanor should be weapon skill 6, hopefully. Maybe weapon skill 7 because of the Mara Karl Dreadnought thing. He's now weapon skill 6, baby. Yeah, I think the Maradral, the Word Bearers special demonic dreadnought. Yeah, that's got a weapon skill of 6 and initiative 5. Fruity. Not heard anything from Cavell's 40k verse. No, yeah. Marigal. The Marigal dreadnought, yeah. Yeah, exactly. They are lethal, yeah. But I believe if there are any friendly models within 6 inches or all models within 6 inches, they actually reduce his leadership, which is hilarious. So they're cruise missiles. You just set them off. Like, go. Word Eaters, along with the Marigal dreadnoughts and the the guys that Argyle Tal hangs out with, those guys. What are the guys? Guys? Argyle Tal hangs out with his guys, and you've got the Marigal dreadnought in the Word Bearers Legion thing. What are the guys? Brain. Galvorback. There you go. Because of the Galvorback and the Marigal, you've got two of the strongest units, to be fair, in the rule system that is 30k Horus Heresy right now. They are strong. They are expensive. So there are ways, but it's Heresy. There's always ways to anti that. Because of those two units there, it does mean that if you lean into that and do that with Word Bearers, that's where you push the envelope on. If you push it too far that way, you'll play less because the games will be shorter. So you've got to push it. You've got to find out where that is. And then you stop. And then you play the games that are funner, and the funner games are the ones that last longer. But yeah, the Word Bearers, those two units, nice. Have I finished now? Have I finished what we were talking about now? I don't know. If I have finished, Galvo back, yes. Galvo back, that's it. Did I turn up for the end of the stream again? I don't know if it's the end of the stream, Stuart Fields. Hey all, a very good morning, evening to you, Captain. Evening to you, Stuart. You didn't turn up at the end of the stream because I don't know if this is the end of the stream. 10-man Volkite units, lovely. 10-man Volkite unit, 225 points, absolute steal. Yes, 10-man Volkite unit. Is it? No, sorry, I think it is. Yes, 225. Very good. Swindon has a noteworthy set of roundabouts, at least. Swindon, 250,000 people live here. What do most people know the town for? It's for a bunch of roundabouts. In a nice place, which will have much less people than Swindon. An island like Bali, for example, I don't know if they've got less people than Swindon, or the Maldives, less people from Swindon, but infinitely nicer place to live than here. All things being equal, but the fact that there's just sun for a start. Lovely. It's a nicer place. Yeah. So, what am I talking about? That's nicer. The Word Bearers are good. Nicer is fight longer. Cricklade, man. That's the first time someone has shouted out Cricklade in my stream before. Yes, baby. I drive through Cricklade every now and then. I went through Cricklade a couple of days ago. We all drive through Cricklade, don't we? At least Swindon isn't a road that other people drive through. Have you got much waiting to get back from Den of Imagination? Good question, Killer Cruiseman. Well, the Death Guard turned up recently. They've got about 2,000 points worth of Sons of Horus mainly infantry. There's 2 new models next door that I need to make a video about and shout about, and I'm going to do that tomorrow. Was going to do it today, but go back earlier in the video and see the thing where I was ranting to the members about the reason why I haven't got... I don't know what I'm talking about because I got busy today. As well as that, back in the earlier stream, there could be some salamanders coming as well. Cumbernauld is a lot of roundabouts. That's not a recommendation, apparently. Thank you, Desert of Zin. Thank you. That's a good piece of information there that I'll probably... It's probably pushed out another critical piece of information in the back of my brain, that piece of information. It's pushed out a critical piece that I nearly needed for this piece of information about Cumbernauld, which I'm never ever going to need. I mean, that's one of the rules. You just stated one of the... Here's a rule, here's something. And then if I come up against Cumbernauld and find out that that rule is not the rule, that there's no roundabouts whatsoever, none, then I've come up against a rule, and that... You see? Intelligent people stick to the rules. You put up a rule in my brain and I don't need it. Some bullshit right there. Why you bullshit? You don't need bullshit like Swindon and Cumbernauld. You don't need these places. Can't we all like Can't we all just have a little bit of sunshine? Ironically, I'm painting 7 for the inventory of 5 vehicles for 30k Death Guard right now. Nice. Well done. Try both for the right support. They're both good. Are the 30k Death Guard units you wish for 40k? Are there 30k Death Guard units you wish 30k had? Rad grenades would be nice. But I guess 30k units. Well, yeah, I mean, the answer is quite frankly yes, because in 30k there are units for everything, and in 40k the Death Guard units, you could see adding 3 or 4 things to the Death Guard Codex, right? There is a bigger, stompier thing you could add to a Death Guard Codex. There is a bigger, shootier thing that you could add to a Death Guard Codex. There's certainly some kind of transport tank you could add to the death. There's things, and 30k have got those things in. So yes, there are things from the 30k range that they could stick into 40k, but they shouldn't do that now. No, because the Death Guard now in 40k are forging their own identity. They'll have some of the old stuff in, but they need to forge their own identity and have more unique models. You get the people in through the Space Marine door, you see, and then you filter them down into this. But the Death Guard in 40k look like this, and you as many filters. Some kind of Plague Marine variant, maybe. Yes, like mutilators, obliterators, a Plague Marine, Plague big zombie thing would be nice, wouldn't it? That'd be lovely. So what do that in 30k they would be Galfabak or Ogrin. They would be that kind of model. Yes, put that into the Death Guard. That'd be lovely. Why not just move Nottingham to the closer to the Mecca? Did you have has a lot of roundabout? Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, I've been going on for over an hour. This stream would have been easier if I knew what I was talking about. I think, however, now we're coming down to the very end of the stream. We can agree that I did know what I was talking about when it came to some things, but I didn't know what I was talking about when it came to other things. So that's a nice conclusion. That's a nice way to draw it, isn't it? So I didn't know what I was talking about, but then I kind of did, and then I kind of didn't. Because there's some things that I talked about, and I knew what I was talking about. So does that mean I've come to an end? I think it means I've come to the end. I think I've talked about all the things I can talk about, because it's late. It was beautiful. It was beautiful, says Asbo. Thank you. Thank you, Asbo. You're beautiful too, remember. Be beautiful, Asbo. Try to be less of an idiot. Try to follow more rules. Don't drive on the wrong side of the road. Rules in your family, rules at work, rules here. The Olympic athletes, they followed all the rules. Do you know how much studying you need to do to become, I don't know, an astronaut and leave the planet? You followed all the rules. How many people have actually left the planet? Only clever people. Only clever people. The rest of us idiots. See you soon, buddy. Thank you, Rick Shazam. Yeah, I'll see you soon. Thanks for agreeing to come down. Thank you to all the members who agreed to, who hit me up today. I don't know if I'll be doing that again, but it was fun. I enjoyed today. Today was fun. And if you were in the Discord, then you know what I'm talking about. New legs, Lieutenant Dan. I got 5 minutes of the stream this time. I really should do less work and watch more Winters. Thank you, Stuart Fields. I appreciate you. And thank you everyone who's watched this video. Tomo and Rick Shazam video. Thank you everyone who's watched this live stream. Tomo and Rick Shazam, have a lovely game tomorrow. I do hope you have a long game and therefore have as much fun as possible. That'd be absolutely lovely. Everyone, love, care, share, help each other and try to be less of an idiot. And thank you for all watching. And happy wargaming.